The Sound Lab, 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 the Sound Lab. Experimenting with the best new music.
AJ from Fire from the Gods.
Yes. How you doing, pal?
Yeah,
You good?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. You're here on tour with The Who.
We are. It's been fantastic. You know, as we're winding down, I think we've got about 5 or 6 more shows left. The magic and the good thing about this tour is that we were booked late on this tour, and so a lot of people that know Fire from the Gods on this side of the world, in this side of the world, weren't able to exactly get tickets and that, which hasn't reflected poorly on us by any means, because 90 to 95% of the crowd are there to see The Who because they're familiar with The Who. But as you'll see from the start of the set, when people are still trying to figure us out, by the end of the set, they're like, wow, we're impressed and whoa, what show, do you know what I mean? So it's really good for us to be able to get new fans and to grasp new fans. And every country that we've been in and everywhere we've been on this tour, it's really been the same sort of scenario where people have just seen the band for the first time and just seeing and hearing the band for the first time and really enjoying it and loving it. And so that's a huge positive we can take away from our first tour on this side of the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. And you're doing this because you've released new records?
Yes, American Sun. Yes.
Tell us about it.
American Sun, you know, is a concept, and it really ties into the theme of Fire from the Gods, which the theme is adversity despite challenge. Overcoming despite the adversity, overcoming adversity, the daily struggle that life's challenges present, and also speaking truth to the power, so to speak, the power that holds us, that holds society, and what I like to say, not to sound cliche-ish or cheesy by any means, you know, the chains that hold society, which are the condemnation that we put ourselves in, the hatred, the violence, the methods that we've used to communicate with each other for thousands of years, which we believe haven't worked. You know what I mean? So with Fire from the Gods and American Sun really is speaking to that truth, to that power, saying that, you know, it's time to unite, and if we don't unite and if we don't trust in ourselves and trust in the unity and community of humanity, then we won't survive.
Yeah.
And American Sun tells that story.
Yeah. Good. And how does this record compare to the previous 2 albums of yours?
Sonically, it's changed quite a bit. You know, the ferocity and the heaviness of Fire from the Gods is still there, but this record definitely has a lot more melody on it, a lot more hip-hop elements, and it's exactly what we wanted to do. With narrative and narrative retold, there was still, even with the 3 extra tracks that we added to narrative retold, we had still matured as a band quite a bit. It was, you know, they were about a year apart between narrative and narrative retold, but it still had that visceral, very raw, gritty metalcore sound that Fire from the Gods was known for, and that we debuted with. But American Sun really still has the same sort of intensity and ferocity, but with a little bit more melody, and we've honed in and pinpointed the message a bit more. With narrative, it really told a story of a young man who myself told my story of the things I've been through, the things I've seen in life. But American Sun now said, although I've been through those things, and although you, the listener, might have gone through those things, there is a bit more. There's more out there. There's hope. There's a little bit more. We have hope in humanity. There's more out there for us than, again, the violence, the hatred, and you know, the ways by which we have communicated, and the way by which we try to maintain order in society. There's a little bit more than just the things that separate us, because we're a lot closer than we think.
Yeah.
Instead of a revolution, we need to evolve our minds.
And jumping off that, ethnic minorities in rock and metal. Obviously, The Who are here now.
Yes.
Yourself, and then there's a couple of others like Tom Morello and Benji from Skindred. But how do you feel about being someone of a black ethnicity, trying to push
the
music?
narrative? Yeah, and exactly. You know, it's never the only times it ever really stands out to me are when I'm in a room and I might just be the only black person or the only person of an ethnic minority. But I believe that music is unity. Music is peace. Music isn't defined by color. You know, I'm not one of those that say, well, white guys shouldn't be rapping, because I feel that we all grew up in an age of hip hop, and if hip hop has influenced you, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be rapping. I grew up a metalhead. I grew up in hardcore, so there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to do it. And the fact that a band like The Who and Fire from the Gods, you know, on tour together, it speaks to the evolution of people. Exactly, and selling out. Do you know what I mean? And no one knows what they're saying if you're not Mongolian. Do you know what I mean? Or if you can't read Cyrillic, if you can't, you know. So the way that people have attached themselves to The Who, you know, it's the same. I see the same sort of elements with Fire from the Gods, because people go, wow, there's a 6-foot black guy on stage, especially in America. Yeah. And they're just like, whoa. You know, and it's not uncommon, because you've got Sevendust, you know, you've got Howard that fronted Killswitch on the main stage for years, you know, so it's not uncommon, but I do know that it does carry a bit of weight, but I've never looked at it as something that should define me or define my band, because I think it only speaks and bodes well for our message and who we are, you know, so I want people to understand that. Yes, it's metal. Yes, it's heavy, but we're still at the core human, and this is a human story that we're trying to tell, not a color-based story.
Definitely agree. And so once you finish this tour with The Who, what's the plan next for you? Because I see there's quite a few dates and festivals.
Yes, festivals. We're doing a bit of the American festival run, which is we've done twice now, so that's going to feel like home. You know, in America, that's home, but. We'll be back in the UK for Download, which, again, having lived in the UK and having my roots here as well as in America, I mean, it's huge, it's massive. Tomorrow, the first show in London, you know, that's a big one. I've got like 20 people on my guest list, just me alone. Do you know what I mean? Like mates and family that I've heard, they're like, oh, we know what you're doing. You know, they know what I'm doing in America. They've seen little bits of it, but, you know, now that I'm actually in a band that's got some repute, you know, they're like, yeah, you know, they're all coming out to support. So we're going to get back here, and we're doing Download. We're going to be in France for Hellfest. We'll be in Germany for Rock am Ring. We're going to be in Belgium for Grasspop and Nova Rock as well. We'll be in Ireland for the new one, Sunstroke. So we've got quite a busy schedule coming up for Fire from the Gods, and really hope to be back in the EU and the UK for a full tour as well at some point, maybe later in the year or early 2021, you know, because American Sun has just started the cycle for it, so we've got plenty more to do. So work, shows. That's our motto. That's what we do.
Yeah, I was going to ask that, what the plan for after festival season was. Is it hoping to keep on touring, or do you think you might have some writing time in there too?
As far as writing is concerned, I think we're going to be doing probably like just like off key, like singles and stuff like that. You know, what we did with Narrative Retold and Reimagined, which was the biggest song off that record. We're looking to try and do more of that, and the way people have responded to American Sun, we know that Fire from the Gods fans and new listeners really like that side of Fire from the Gods, the melodic side of us, the more unplugged side, so to speak. So we want to be able to do a bit more of that, but I know touring is, and now with our new team, everyone's like, let's tour, work and be on the road and spread the message. That's really the basis. I'd love to get to Asia at some point, and the Far East, you know, Japan, but if we could. But 2020 and 2021, I know it's going to be full of a lot more shows and spreading Fire from the Gods around the world.
Good. And looking to album number 4, are you going to keep going with the more melodic and hip hop style, or do you think you might revert back to the more hardcore and metal side of things?
Depending, you know, we write on feelings a lot, and what we feel and how we feel, and what's the zeitgeist, you know, what's the sign of the times, what's going on musically, you know, where can we draw inspiration from? And if we feel the need to write something heavy, we'll write something heavy. If we feel the need to carry on and we're getting a better response, you know, people really like the melodic side of Fire from the Gods, as I've stated before. You could see with the response on the first 2 records what people responded to, and so what we did with American Sun was sort of double down on that, you know, for lack of a better way of putting it. We did with the things that people liked about Fire from the Gods and just doubled it and did it again. But again, it's all about the way we're feeling, and I know that rock and heavy music are making a very big comeback in 2020. 2019 was a very good year for heavy music, and I believe 2020 and 2021 will be as well. And the way the world's opening up, the mainstream world is opening up to heavy music again. I know that there's a place for Fire from the Gods in that. So we'll just try and, as they say, get in where we fit in.
Excellent. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Having a chat with you.
Yes.
Cheers.
See you later, guys.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
The Sound Lab. 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 Experimenting with the best new music.